What's up guys, I'm Sam Wicker and today I'm going to be showing you how I did the pixelated tree hole effect in Pixel Warfare. So let's get started. So here I am in 3ds Max where I'm going to be showing you how I created this pixelated tree hole model. So the first step is going to be to collect some materials. So we're going to go to View, Viewport Background, and Show Background. So I've already browsed for an image and this is just a snapshot with a mosaic tile. And with this I'll be able to go into the material editor and get some materials from this. So I'll pick 3 materials to show you how I created the model. One more material you're going to want to add is a matte shadow, and that is the material going around this model. And basically what it is it will only show shadows cast onto it and make whatever it is applied to invisible and whatever's behind it invisible. So it's crucial to make this actually look like a hole with that. So now that I have the materials, I'm going to create one box and make it about 3 by 3 by 3. And I'm going to right click on it and say convert to editable poly. Converting it to an editable poly will allow you to manipulate the sides and apply different materials to each side. So the inner sides I'm going to apply an actual color, and then the outer sides I will apply the matte shadow. And then you're going to want to rename this to something like inner pixel, and that's because when working with the plugin Rayfire, you're going to want to have it more organized. So now once you finish that first pixel, it's just up to duplicating it by pressing shift and just moving it to a different position and using random colors and basically making the actual model. So I'll just apply a different material to that. And then once you're done with the whole model, you can then select export and export it as an FBX file. Alright, so now that we have created the model, we now need to 3D motion track our footage. So here we are in Boujou and I've imported the sequence. And since Eric is moving in this sequence, I'm going to need to add a polygon mask so Boujou doesn't take him into consideration when it tracks the footage. So I'll add that and I'll just roughly keyframe it. Alright, so now that I'm done with that, I'll click Track Features and click Start. And now that it's done tracking, I will click Camera Solve so Boujou will solve the camera movements. Alright, so you can see that Boujou has placed a bunch of dots on the screen that follow correctly with the footage and the camera movements. So now we have to tell Boujou what's correct in the scene. And to do this with 3ds Max is a little weird because 3ds Max has an inverted system where the y-axis is actually the z-axis and the z-axis is actually the y-axis. So to tell Boujou what's correct in the scene, you click 3D Tasks and Add Edit Scene Geometry. Now we'll click 2 points that are roughly along the y-axis, and we'll click Add Coordinate from Hint, and for 3ds Max it's not actually the y-axis, it'll be the z-axis. And we will get 2 points along the x-axis, and remember that stays the same. X-axis, and here are 2 points along the z-axis, and that'll be the y-axis. And we'll choose 1 point for our origin in our 3D world and click origin. Alright, so now that that's done, we will select a few points to flag for export that will actually show up in 3ds Max. We want to click points that we'll actually be using, and when we're done, we have about, say, 10. Right click on one that you have selected and click flag for export. Now you want to go to export, camera solve, and make sure 3ds Max is selected, select export flag tracks only, and you want to change the scale scene by to about 100 so it'll be big enough to be able to see, and just browse and click save. So now that you've created the model and have your footage tracked, you drag both those data files into the project and you'll have this. With a little bit of tweaking, you can get the model to line up with the footage where the tree is actually located, and it'll be nice. So the other thing you're going to want to do is add correct lighting. So I recommend using a daylight system. Drag that on there and set the settings up correctly, along with where you live and the timing that when you filmed, and be sure to set it to a Mr. Sun and Mr. Sky, and then under exposure control use Mr. Photographic Exposure Control and select the preset physically based lighting, outdoor, daylight, clear sky, and everything should look good. You're going to want to use a mental ray renderer. You can change that right here. The default is scanline. And for indirect illumination, use high or medium depending on your processor. And everything should look good from there. Just render it out as a PNG. And one more thing you're going to want to do is create a matte for After Effects when we composite. So basically just put a cylinder in here to fill it, so that when we're in After Effects we can use that matte with the base footage. So here we are in Adobe After Effects, where I will composite everything together. I have the footage in a composition, and I also have the regular render, and I also have the matte, which is basically, just like I said, the cylinder in the hole. So back in the composition, as you can see, I have 2 tracks. They're just the standard After Effects 2D tracking, and I'm going to use it with the clean plate that I created. Now for the clean plate, we're going to use this with the matte, and I link the clean plate up with the track so that it will follow the footage. And with the clean plate, we will select alpha matte so that it uses it with the matte. And now you can see that it appears like there's a hole in the tree. So we'll turn on the regular, and there's the effect on its own. For an added touch, I added smoke from Action Essentials. You can check that out at videocopilot.net. And I also added light on the hole because when we were shooting this video, some light seeped through the leaves of the trees and landed on the hole, so which is a touch of realism. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you comment if you have any questions, and be sure to subscribe to our channels.